Hi, welcome back to the channel. Now, I always consider myself one of those very understanding friends, but I recently, because I'm in this journey of discovering myself and knowing the truth about who I am. So one of my friends told me that she gets scared of telling me some things because I tend to give her a truth that sometimes she's not ready for, which can be good and can be bad because, most of the time people know what they are being told. They just didn't want to accept it. But I also consider myself that person who you can count on to also have your back. And I am doing this video today because of something that I saw on social media that I wish that somebody somewhere who has a friend or a relative who's going through this can actually have an honest conversation with them. So while I was strolling on those streets of social media, what happened? I happened to come across this story about a lady who was having an affair with a man. And when she had this affair with the man for 8 years, the girl is 24 years old. So apparently the affair started when she was a teenager. And she had an affair with this man for a long time. The man apparently even paid her fees up to university. And then she graduates and decides she can do better and leaves this man. So the first time, then the man sent somebody to pour acid on her. And that was, that's how the story came on social media. Now, the first time I heard the story, my first reaction was, ouch, that is painful. So that was my first reaction there. Oh, acid, how, okay. And then my second reaction, because as at the time when I was seeing the video, I don't think they already knew who exactly it was that had, I don't know if they knew or not, but the post I saw was like that. But my first thing was, it has to be an ex-boyfriend who's done this. And then, of course, then the story started coming up and things like that and things like that. And yeah, so the more details that kept coming up. And at the beginning, a very petty and silly side of me, well, because this girl is a member of a choir, which is a very gospel, she's very in a gospel setting, and there's a video of her singing on YouTube and things like that. And so she's someone who's there. Now, my first thing was, the good thing is she's not wearing makeup, she has short hair, so she is what these men are always telling us. This is the wife material, And so I was waiting to see what happened. A few hours later, of course, then the story came up, and yeah, now I kind of got the gist of where it was. Now, I've been all over social media commenting very crazily, partly because I had time and partly because it kind of bothered me, the direction that the conversation was taking. And most of it is because, for some weird reason, it has been decided that she is the villain and the man is the victim, and there is no redeeming quality for this woman, and she deserved everything she got. Now, I am not here to say that what she did was right, because as a woman, I wouldn't because the man was married, and apart from what I gather from the information, which might or might not be true, he was abandoning his wife, he was not being very nice to her, he was treating her really badly. And this girl, because these mistresses of nowadays, they behave very, very strangely. But anyway, so she apparently had been insulting the wife of this man, and it had just been crazy, a few years of them living and cohabiting as people. Now, I came to the conclusion that, okay, so this is how they have been living. This man was okay with this all these years. started grooming this girl when she was 16 because, of course, he's thinking, oh, let me get her when she's still a virgin. Let me get what I want. My issue with people making this man the victim, I mean, the woman is yes, she's a victim of being poured on acid, but she is not the victim in the story. The only person in this whole story who's innocent is the wife, right? But my issue with everybody now deciding to glorify this man for what he did is this was a transaction, okay? It is a transaction where the man wanted a virgin, a young girl that he can control, that will listen to him, that will, I'm sure in his mind and when he was telling his friends and he was justifying this relationship to himself, I am willing to bet that part of his conversation went like this. Oh, you know, my wife does not listen to me. My wife is stubborn. My wife is rude. This girl understands me. She's my peace. She's, all this. And she's a Christian and I love her and I am investing in her and I want an educated woman. I'm sure those were the things that he was looking for. And he invested in it. And what he got or did not get out of it is now the issue over here. Because now he is mad about the fact that she decided that she can do better. First of all, if this was a story that was happening in 2000 or 1999, I would feel sorry for this man. But any man who is paying school fees for somebody who is not their relative or their wife, I do not feel sorry for you because it is obvious that when this woman finishes, graduates, she is going to go for somebody who is a graduate like her. Now, if you're doing it for charity, that's a whole other thing. But if you're doing it because you think that this woman is going to graduate and then come and marry you, how many men has this happened to? It has happened to so many men. And what I don't even understand is, if he was very, very serious that he wanted to marry this girl, all these years, why did he not marry her? He wanted her as his second wife. Why did he not marry her while he was paying that school fees or before he started paying that school fees? He got what he wanted. They were in a relationship. And when you're in a relationship, men consider themselves providers, right? So when you're in a relationship, you go on dates and you're bought for gifts. You can be bought for a watch. You can be bought for snacks. You can be bought for food. She chose to be paid for school fees. There are so many girls who are out here sleeping with married men in exchange for pads. She chose what she wanted because she was thinking ahead. She was thinking of her future. That already should have been a red flag to this man, that this girl does not intend on being with me forever because she is thinking ahead. But of course, he decided to continue thinking with her instead of thinking with his brain. And then, of course, on social media, you always have the people who, when they cannot reason, then they decide to resort to insults. And one of the people sent me a message and told me, commented on my comment and said that, then hopefully, then why didn't she realize that he was not good enough for her before he paid her school fees? Because they were in a relationship. First of all, let's think about this thing logically. This man, his reaction to being dumped was, let me burn you up. Let me throw acid on your face. That is his reaction to being dumped. What makes you think this man was not abusive? Maybe not to this girl, maybe not, but probably to his wife. And this girl knew. So she was probably thinking, you know what? This guy is a short-term deal. I am not intending on spending the rest of my life with this guy. Red flags are there all over this thing. And the girl knew she was a mistress. And the funny thing is, most people think that mistresses want to be married. A lot of people that I know who have ever been mistresses, they look at that man and they're like, there's no way I'm ever going to trust this man. I do not intend on being married to this man. But of course, that's not the reality that most people think. Anyway, so now, of course, this video comes out as if I am shaming the victim, but it depends on who you think the victim is. I think both of them were wrong. And I do not and will never, ever, ever condone the fact that somebody should be given the death sentence. Because, okay, the woman did not die. Let's get that straight. She did not die. But his intention was for her to die. And I think that is a bit extreme, that you want somebody to die because of something that you both did together. This girl, and what people are failing to see, and of course, we live in a society where people will consider girl, and this, I think this only happens to Black girls, because we tend to look at Black teenage girls as women. And I don't think any other society looks at their teenagers as women. We are the only ones who do that. And so the fact that she was 16 when this relationship started, how many 16-year-olds are actually thinking clearly? And a relationship can start. I mean, we've all had that ex that you are so sure this was your destiny and you're forever. And then you reach somewhere and then you just have nothing in common with this person, especially when you're younger. So people saying that she should not have accepted any gift, she should not have accepted for this guy to pay her whatever because she did not love him. You're assuming that she did not love him from the beginning. She probably thought she loved him, or she maybe even loved him, but then she reached somewhere and started thinking differently. How I was thinking at 16 and how I was thinking at 24 and how I am thinking now are so different, that if I'm meeting somebody, the kind of guy that I would meet at 16 and say, oh, this is Mr. Right, the kind of guy I would meet at 24 and say, this is Mr. Right, and the kind of guy that I would meet in my 30s and say, this is Mr. Right, I don't even think they're in the same level, because and that's part of the reason why the older you get, the harder it is to get married, is partly because you start having different expectations and different things. And, even men, at the beginning, all you want is a woman who is able to open her legs. That's what you were looking for when you're a teenager. You just want an easygoing, quick to the bedroom kind of girlfriend. Then you turn to your 20s and you're thinking, I want somebody who is motherly, who can actually be a mother. And then if you're not married by the end of your 20s and you're now in your 30s and you're making some money, you're thinking, I want a woman who also brings something to the table. I don't want a woman who doesn't have a job, doesn't have anything. I just want a woman who's forward thinking. And then if by chance you're still, and these are men, if by chance you're still single in your 40s, you probably, unless now you're just somebody who wants somebody to control, you would probably want a woman who has quite a number of achievements also, because you want somebody who is at your level. So this girl, the way she was thinking when she was 16 is not the same way she was thinking when she was that age. And this man, for him, this was just a means to an end. Anyway, so all this is just to say that we all make mistakes. This girl made a mistake, a very costly mistake, and I don't think she deserved to die for it.